Mining, it is a dangerous business, and I'm out here in Arizona and exploring some of the mines that were used during the 19th century all the way up to the end of World War II. And what you can gather from actually being part of this, being part of the mine and just going out to these locations, what you can fully appreciate is the fact that it is just damn hard work and it's damn dangerous. I mean, it's just crazy, knucking futz dangerous. Now, people who come out here and throughout history, throughout time, have done this for a living. I mean, my hat's off to them. It is a risky business, and I gotta wonder, with the commodity price deflation that we have witnessed, you gotta think, at some point the commodity markets have got to recover. Yes, the US dollar index is at multi-year highs, and of course with Janet Yellen having a hawkish monetary policy, those are going to be upside pressures to the price of commodities, and particularly gold and silver. But we're at I'm walking through a silver mine right here, and I gotta tell you, I mean, this is not easy business. And yes, we have a tremendous increase in technology that makes silver mining much more productive, but it's still a very dangerous occupation. You only need to look at some of the documentaries that they filmed regarding the South African mines. I mean, people are going down a mile deep in crazy temperatures in a very volatile environment, and they're mining gold. And so you got to wonder, there is a economic value towards that. Not only is there an economic value to the price of bullion, to the price of these precious metals and other commodities, but there's also a human value to the fact that we're sending a lot of people down into these mines to extract these metals. And let's not forget that a lot of the people that are going into these mines are the lower class, the uneducated, people who have, they're not office workers, what I'm trying to say. They're not your typical middle class Americans. These are people from developing nations, in many cases frontier nations like in Africa. So this being such a dangerous occupation, and combined with the fact that in many cases these commodities, whether they are precious metals or whether they are industrial metals, there is a value to that. There's again a combination of factors. Number one, the intrinsic value of the commodity, whether that is used for monetary purposes or whether it is used for industrial purposes. And number two, the human cost, the human factor. So I believe that the deflation that we are experiencing is not taking into account these elements, obviously. I mean, who would risk their enterprise, and who would risk their lives for such meager compensation? It doesn't make any sense. At some point you got to wonder, there's going to be a demand increase for these metals, and the world is entering a period of resource scarcity. There's a population explosion, particularly in the developing parts of the world. And when you have a population explosion, and this is just science, I'm not trying to make a religious aspect of this, but when you have more people use more resources. Again, I know that's gonna piss off a lot of Christians out there, but I'm just looking at this from a from a purely scientific and mathematical point of view. You have a population explosion, more people are going to want to eat more, they're going to want to consume more resources. So I think it's just natural that we will enter into a period of scarcity. So we have to address these concerns. Well, one of the ways to address concerns, economically speaking, is that the producers increase the price of their products. In this case, commodities. We're not just talking about precious metals, we are talking about food, water, other natural resources that we literally consume. All these commodities must increase in value to compensate for this population boom that we are about to experience over the next few decades. So that to me sounds like a very bullish tailwind for the commodity markets. And again, I'm not just strictly talking about one specific commodity. I think overall the commodity markets are going to explode higher. And by the way, we're not just limited to physical, natural commodities. This includes digital currencies, Bitcoin, Litecoin, other cryptocurrencies. Again, you have more people willing to participate in these markets. If more people are willing to participate and there's increased demand, you've got to increase the price in order to be able to control the supply. Otherwise, there will be a supply squeeze, and the producers would not be able to supply adequately to the increased demand. They would not be able to adequately supply the increased demand. And again, this is just basic economics 101. I mean, the producers could choose to not raise their prices, but then at those deflated prices, the supply would just go flying out the window. And once the supply is gone, there will be no more supply, obviously, and that impedes upon the producer's cash flow. And that's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to impede upon your cash flow, and therefore you've got to raise the price. And I think this is fundamentally what will happen in the commodity markets. If not this year, then I believe over the next few years, you're going to see a rise in commodity prices. This is just a natural consequence of economics.